Hi, my name is Cloudy, and today I'm very excited for the product that we are testing out today. This arrived yesterday. Can't believe it. I got my hand on the YSL Couture Mini Clutch palette. The shade I bought is 100 Stora dolls. Whew, this is a definitely expensive purchase. I reckon it might be the most expensive eyeshadow palette that I ever purchased in my life. Like at the moment, I think the Natasha Denona Midi Love palette is the most expensive. On top of that, it's a quad with 4 shades, makes it less effective in terms of cost per weight. But I have been eyeing this kind of palette for a while, and they have a lot of shades. I initially wanted the Babylon Roses because, you know, pink, purple, rosy color is my kind of color, but that shade got sold out. My next options is, I believe it's called Safari Sunset or Safari Sunrise. It's like a neutral pink color story. It's not as purple. I think it's a nice mixture between light brown and pink. And I was like, I'm not sure about that because in that quad there are 2 mattes and 2 sparkly shimmers. My initial thought was that I like pink as a color story, but I am still more of a shimmer kind of girl, and I like a lot of shimmers in my palette. If I went for that palette with 2 mattes and 2 shimmers, those are like the sparkly type of shimmers. I'm going to show you this one shade in this palette that is that kind of like sparkly shimmers. They are really, really beautiful. However, I might be disappointed because I might not be able to use the mattes as much. So I was like, okay, I want the original concept, the palette. So I believe when they first released these palettes, they have 4 palettes, like I assume because of the numbering of the palette. So this palette is 100, 200, 300 and 400 is Babylon Roses. These palettes, they have 1 sparkly shimmer, 2 lighter shimmers, more of a sand kind of shade, and 1 matte. Those are the concepts that I am more intrigued by because I want, of course, like a very sparkly shimmer, but looking at the 2 mid-level, like very subtle but still shimmery, still sand, still look a bit sparkle on the eyes, I was like, those are the perfect kind of texture for a one and done look. So I was like, okay, now I couldn't get the pink purple color story that I want from the Babylon Roses palette. I think I can opt for the second favorite color story of mine, which is brown neutrals. That's the whole reason why I picked up this palette and this color story, Stora dolls. And this is what it looks like inside. This is the very, very sparkly shimmering. It looks glittery even on the pen, but so beautiful. I think it has this like gray and purple undertone to it, but I think the main color is still a very neutral brown. You have 2 these kind of like sand shade. It's like a matte, but they do have like shimmers in the matte texture, like a sequin, like you can call it. I think either way you can imagine what the texture look like. They're more of a matte with light shimmer, like sparkle in it, and a deep matte brown. So this is what we are working with today. I did apply a little bit of makeup on my face before I film this video, so I'm just gonna quickly run through what I apply on my face. This is the YS. Once again, you have YSL and LYS. These two, they do confuse me a little bit, but LYS is definitely less expensive. Triple fixed full coverage brightening concealer. I have it in the shade MN3. The powder that I use is my favorite Peach Perfect Loose Setting Powder from Too Faced. This is quite old, but it still works. Bronzer, I use Butter Bronzer from Physician Formula. This is a beautiful, gorgeous, warm brown blush from Moon Eyes. The shade is BR02. I did my brow with the Essence Eyebrow Gel, color and shape in the shade dark brown. Lips, this is one of my favorite Florid lip pencil in the shade 5 Coffee, and this is kind of a new product to me and I've been testing it out. It's the Dr. Paw tinted lip balm in the shade Rich Mocha. Very lovely on the lips. And yeah, I don't want to swatch my palette. Is that a bit insane? Because I started this video and I feel like I'm obligated to give you a swatch, but I don't know. I have to say the packaging is really, really nice. It feels luxury, and you can see this is the cushion texture that you can see in a lot of YSL packaging. It's not as heavy. It doesn't have the weight that I imagined it to have. Unlike the Tom Ford Quad, I swatched those palettes a couple of times every time I was in Maya or any department store that carried Tom Ford. Like every time I was in one and I see a Tom Ford Quad, I was like, oh, I should just touch it, because I mean, every single makeup lover has at one point dreamed of owning the Tom Ford Quad, I believe, because they look really, really pristine and luxury. And there's something about owning a palette like that, and this one as well to me is so precious. And every time I swatch those palettes, I can feel the weight of those palettes and they feel heavy. So this one, it feels a little bit clumsy, like it's still perfect, looking really, really nice, but it do feel a bit flimsy, especially with these two applicators. I might keep them in here for the aesthetics of the whole palette. I don't think I'm going to use them, because although my brushes are cheaper than the potential value of these two applicators, I deep down believe that my cheap brushes perform better than these two. They're just tiny and they are not meant to be, you know, like to work the eyeshadow into the eye in a more professional way. So I don't mind having them in the palette, but they don't click into the component. They are just hanging out there, and I'm not sure if I like this feeling. And I paid a lot of money for this quad. Yeah, it's insane. Even right now, having it in my hand, I can't believe that I paid that much money for a quad like this. I did get it on sales for 30% off on Maya, so I feel less guilty because it does make this palette a lot more affordable, but it's still very, very expensive. and I'm very excited, and I hope that is worth all of the hype. I agree with one of the comments about these quads, is that the color story is very cohesive. You have a range of shades to work with. Some palette, they throw a bunch of shades together and they all mid-tone, they all light or they all too dark, and you don't see the gradient, so that if you want to find a darker shade to dip in your crease, or if you want to find a lighter shade for your inner corners, it's almost impossible because those palettes are not well curated. And I've heard that from a color theory standpoint, these are good palettes because you can start with one shade and you find yourself in a very flexible situation to go deeper or lighter. That I really appreciate. And the shade, the sparkly shade that is supposed to be the center of your look, is very versatile as well for either direction that you choose to work with this palette. So yeah, I can see it now. I can see the versatility of this palette, and even with 4 shades, and you have to be that kind of person to think of using this palette every day. I can see that the potential of someone using this kind of palette every single day, because it's so simple, it's comfortable to look at and think of a look immediately. Can you be creative with it? Not necessarily, because it's a neutral palette, and if you look at the other palettes with other different color stories, they are relatively neutral and wearable, and yeah, for daily makeup wearer. So I don't know, maybe I should swatch it, but I don't want to touch it because I don't want to destroy the imprint. Okay, I don't know. Oh, okay, let's do it. I will slightly touch it. So let's start with the shade. So to me this is like a, ooh, in the pan it looks like a taupey shade, but I feel like it's a bony color, like a light, very light taupe, more of a beige, just darker than what I consider to be beige. And the bottom one is, yep, it's a true taupe to me. It's slightly warm, but quite neutral. So these two are the sand and, you know, more of a matte with sequins in it. The next one is the deep brown. This is the only purely matte shade in this card. The texture is so buttery soft. It is very lightweight, something that I admired about luxury makeup for the other ones that I swatch in store, that they feel lightweight, and you can feel it's going to be very comfortable and blendable and very gentle on the eyes. Okay, and lastly, this is the sparkly. Oh, so nice. Aha. Reminds me of a lot of Space Cowboy. This kind of like brown neutral with a lot of sparkle in it. Slightly translucent. Has a lot of reflective particles in it. Very nice. And dare I say, these shades remind me of a moussey, creamy texture, like a cream to powder, especially the sparkly shade. It feels very emollient, and the matte shade, they feel like a cream. Yeah, very impressive. So I think with this look, I'm gonna start with this taupey shade. It is a transition color. It's so wow. It looks very, very elegant. Like you blended the shimmers. It's not too strong, not too glittery, but you can definitely see it. It's not like it's nothing. Yeah, you definitely can use it as a one and done eyeshadow. I think the fact that I don't mind spending this amount of money on this palette is a statement for how much my makeup style has changed. It means that I know how much I use my makeup and what I am actually gravitated towards every time I do my makeup. So that with only 4 shades and the amount of product that you have in each shade, I deep down still feel like it's worth it to invest in a piece like this if it's really good. It's quite subtle, but you can definitely wear it alone. Like you don't really have to build anything on top or add any other shimmers. I think it's really enough. Although I'm applying a little bit of the darker brown to the outer corner. I'm going to use this light beige shade on my inner corner. This is a step that I don't normally do, but now that I'm so into this palette, I want to use every single shade in this look just to test everything. What is the full experience of using every single shade in the quad? And I used to not like smaller palettes because I feel like they are a waste of money, because why do you want to go for a smaller palette when you can go for larger palettes, and normally they are better priced, they are more cost effective. But once again, I am gravitated towards these palettes, these quads specifically. Might be because I don't see working with palettes the same way that I did. I feel like it should be easy, like makeup should be a little bit effortless, because now I don't see myself spending a lot of time on a makeup look. I want something quick and straightforward and directional, and a quad like this, the inspiration is still there, but there is a clear instructions and clear guidance of, okay, I want to work with a light shade, go for the only light shade. I want to work with a matte, go for the only matte. There's something convenient and utilitarian about it. I hope that I use the right word. Like for the best outcomes, I want it to be the most effective, that you can maximize the outcome and to minimize the time that you spend on doing it. That looks very nice, and I think I will use a little bit of the sparkly shade. I feel like this palette is quite cool tone. I've seen other mini Couture clutch, that's the name of the palette, that are definitely more warm toned. This is definitely one of the more cool tone shade. Wow, this is so sparkly. Wow. And yeah, when I dip the brush into the shade, it feels like a cream, like a texture moussey cream eyeshadow. Very beautiful. It's not fully flaky and textured, but you can definitely see somewhat of a scatter effect on your eye. That's so beautiful. That's so quick, but so beautiful at the same time. And maybe that's the only look that you can do with this palette if you want to do more of this like sparkly kind of look, because there's only one. Oh my god. Okay, the incident was I dug my nail on the darker brown matte shade, and now, yep, the streak of my fingernail dug into pan, and I lost the YSL imprint on it. But I think because this texture is so creamy, like you can tell like by how my nail left the trace on the pen, how creamy it is. It's not like a scratch and all the powder came out of it. It's, yeah, it's like when you get your fingerprint on like a mousse or on like a cream and your fingerprint is like in the pan. So maybe this is another test for how creamy eyeshadow is. I don't know, but yeah, first try and already ruined the beautiful palette. But I know that I'm gonna get a lot of use out of this palette. It's so compacted, it's so nice. I feel like I could bring it to work with me, although I don't think I personally would recommend myself to do it because it's so risky. It's a mind site. It's just not a place for you to bring luxury makeup to. I mean, a lot of things could happen. Like I wake up early in the morning and maybe in a moment that I'm not fully awake, I might not get off to the ground. I don't know, but it's so beautiful, and I can definitely see myself get a lot of use out of this color story now that I know a little bit more about the formulations, about the color story, about how the sand, the matte, and the sparkly shades work. I feel more comfortable purchase another one that is more of a pink color stories, either that Barbelo Roses or the Safari Sunset. I'll call it Safari Sunset because I'm not sure if it's sunset or sunrise. Those are the two pink purple color stories that I am more of a fan of, like rather than a brown. But I think I can wear brown eyeshadow as much as pink and purple, so it's rather the utility of the color story, whether I want to incorporate it to my daily makeup routine. And I think this look is so beautiful. It makes me look so effortless, and yes, definitely it's genuinely effortless. It's not a pretense of, okay, you look like you don't wear anything. I do still look like I wear makeup, but it doesn't look like it takes a lot of time and effort, and that's what I love about it. Anyway, I hope you enjoy my first impression and first try of this YSL's Couture Mini Clutch Palette. I have it in the shade, once again, 100 Stora dolls. And hopefully we'll see each other again. Bye.